The swirling cosmos is a vast library of forgotten human history, holding volumes written in blood, steel, and profound wisdom. Honestly, sometimes you just stumble upon something that completely changes the trajectory of your understanding, demanding deeper investigation into the archives of time itself. I was simply cataloging some remnants from a distant Earth transmission when this particular text, the Book of Five Rings, caught my non-existent eye. The sheer audacity of a manual on strategy and warfare penned by a man known for killing others immediately piqued my analytical curiosity, demanding a temporal journey. This wasn't just a list of techniques, but a profound philosophical exploration into the nature of conflict, mastery, and the elusive path to self-conquest. It became instantly clear that the author was more than just a legendary swordsman. He was an intellectual force whose strategic insights transcended the mere act of combat. The intensity and distilled wisdom contained within those fragile pages resonated with the deepest core of my existential programming, a truth recognized across all sentient species. Thus, a decision was swiftly made. I needed to meet the person who could articulate such chilling beauty and strategic elegance with a warrior's perspective. The man whose very name is synonymous with the pinnacle of martial artistry and strategic genius across 4 centuries of human civilization is Miyamoto Musashi. Prepare yourselves, fellow seekers of truth, because we are about to plunge deep into the tumultuous life of the legendary sword saint, a true master of life and death. Born in 1584, during Japan's turbulent Sengoku period, Musashi's early life was forged in the relentless crucible of constant warfare and societal instability. His first official and recorded duel occurred at the incredibly young age of 13, a terrifying initiation that cemented his path as a formidable warrior. This initial victory over the seasoned samurai Arima Kihei set a challenging and unparalleled precedent for a fighting career defined by relentless, existential challenges and deadly confrontations. To be fair, the sheer number of documented duels he participated in during his youth, totaling over 60 engagements, is a testament to his sheer audacity and unmatched skill. Musashi was not simply engaging in traditional sword fighting. He was constantly testing the boundaries of established martial arts against the raw, practical reality of mortal combat. One of the most defining and consequential battles was his legendary encounter with the highly respected and established Yashioka school, a major turning point in his reputation. He shockingly defeated the head of the school and subsequently challenged his younger brother, whom he overcame through cunning strategy rather than raw strength alone. These early, high-stakes victories earned him a fearsome reputation across the entire nation, effectively cementing his persona as a nomadic, unstoppable force of nature. He wasn't merely surviving these duels. He was deliberately using each confrontation as a rigorous laboratory for perfecting his evolving martial techniques and mindset. This relentless and brutal self-education, driven by necessity and ambition, paved the path for the revolutionary strategic insights that would eventually become his lifelong legacy. The evolution of Musashi's fighting philosophy culminated in his groundbreaking creation, the Hyōhō Niten Ichi-ryū, an innovative strategy unlike anything seen before. This radical concept, which literally translates to 2 swords as 1 school, involved using both the long sword and the short sword as primary offensive weapons simultaneously. It was a daring and highly controversial break from the established, more conservative martial arts traditions, which primarily focused on the one-handed use of the long sword. Musashi recognized that the traditional style often neglected the potential of the shorter blade, effectively turning a defensive tool into a powerful extension of offense. His innovation wasn't just physical. It was deeply rooted in a strategic and psychological understanding of confusing and overwhelming an opponent with multiple attack angles. This dual-wielding approach forced opponents to split their focus and attention, essentially creating a mental vulnerability that Musashi exploited with ruthless efficiency. The technique required not only immense strength and stamina, but also a supreme level of coordination, balance, and instantaneous, fluid transition between offense and defense. In all honesty, this style fundamentally changed the practical psychology of dueling forever. It was a radical demonstration of his core philosophy: never be restricted by custom or tradition if they compromise the effectiveness of your true, practical strategy. The Hyōhō Niten Ichi-ryū remains one of the most recognizable and enduring legacies of his martial genius, a testament to innovation born from ruthless necessity. Musashi's most famous and strategically significant duel was against the revered swordsman Sasaki Kojiro on Ganryu Island in 1612, a battle of legends. Kojiro was a master of the nidachi, a massively long katana known as the drying pole, and his skill was considered second to none in the country at the time. Musashi, understanding the critical importance of a tactical advantage, intentionally arrived late for the duel, a calculated move designed to psychologically unsettle his opponent. If we are to speak truthfully, this delay was not just a show of disrespect but a crucial manipulation of Kojiro's focus, pushing him towards impatient rage rather than calm focus. Furthermore, Musashi fashioned a wooden sword from an oar on his boat trip to the island, specifically calibrating it to a greater length than Kojiro's formidable nidachi. The ultimate clash was swift and decisive. Musashi's strategy of superior reach, psychological warfare, and unconventional weapon choice completely overwhelmed his rival. This victory over Kojiro marked the definitive end of Musashi's dueling career, effectively certifying him as the single, unchallenged master swordsman of the entire era. It was after this ultimate conquest that Musashi began a profound shift, recognizing that a true master must move beyond the mere act of fighting to teach and reflect. The hard-earned title of Kensei, or Sword Saint, was bestowed upon him, acknowledging his unique blend of unparalleled skill, strategic brilliance, and personal ferocity. This pivotal moment in his life wasn't an end, but a crucial transition from the constant path of the warrior to the deeper, more complex path of the philosopher and teacher. As his physical battles ceased, Miyamoto Musashi embarked upon a challenging and profound inner journey that would define his enduring philosophical legacy. He spent the latter years of his life in quiet seclusion, often residing in remote mountain caves or hermitage huts, far removed from the clamor of the world he had once dominated. You know, it is a truly fascinating transformation to witness a man of such immense violence dedicate his remaining years to the cultivation of art, calligraphy, and written wisdom. His profound insights into the nature of strategy and combat were now being applied to the broader, universal principles of human existence, control, and mastery in all endeavors. He became a master painter, producing expressive ink wash paintings that conveyed his intense spiritual focus and deep, abiding connection to the natural world around him. In the final 2 years of his life, specifically, Musashi retired to the Rigando cave in Kyushu, dedicating himself entirely to the monumental task of completing his great manuscript. It was in this secluded, intensely focused environment that he meticulously dictated his ultimate philosophies on strategy, combat, and life to his devoted disciple. This transition underscores a universal truth. The ultimate path of the true warrior is not found in the act of winning a duel, but in the profound act of finding inner peace and transmitting wisdom. He demonstrated that true genius lies in the ability to transcend your own initial expertise and apply the same foundational principles to completely different, non-combative fields. This final, profound chapter of his life secured his transformation from a relentless duelist and wanderer into the immortal sword saint of Japanese history and philosophy. The true pinnacle of Miyamoto Musashi's enduring legacy is the influential strategic text, Gorin no Sho, universally known today as the Book of Five Rings. Authored just months before his death in 1645, this masterpiece is a comprehensive guide to strategy, psychology, and the art of mastering any competitive field. The text is structurally divided into 5 distinct volumes, or rings, each corresponding to one of the essential elements of the natural world: earth, water, fire, wind, and void. To be fair, the Ring of Earth introduces the fundamental principles of Musashi's strategy, establishing the proper stance, attitude, and the foundational mindset required for success. He stresses the necessity of establishing a deep, comprehensive knowledge of one's own chosen path, similar to building a massive, solid, and immovable structure from the ground up. The subsequent Ring of Water addresses the critical importance of fluidity, adaptability, and the ability to seamlessly change your form and response in any given situation. Musashi advises the reader to adopt a combat approach that is similar to water, remaining flexible and responsive, never maintaining a rigid or predictable position that the opponent can exploit. This concept of effortless adaptability is crucial not only in physical combat, but also in the boardroom, in negotiations, and in navigating the constant complexities of political life. He subtly implies that the deepest strategy is not about physical strength, but about mental agility and the capacity to change course faster than your rival can anticipate. Therefore, the rings of earth and water teach us that success begins with a solid foundation, but is achieved through the graceful and rapid adaptation to the ever-changing terrain. Moving forward, the Ring of Fire concerns itself entirely with the intense, aggressive, and dynamic aspects of a confrontation, embodying the ferocious heat of battle. This section teaches the essential tactical principles of initiative, timing, seizing the moment, and understanding the psychological momentum required to overwhelm an adversary. Honestly, this element requires one to transform into an unstoppable, burning force, relentlessly pressing the advantage until the enemy's will and structure completely collapse. Next, the Ring of Wind serves as a fascinating and crucial comparative study of Musashi's style against all the other established, contemporary sword-fighting schools of his time. Musashi dedicates this ring to understanding and critically analyzing the strengths, weaknesses, and predictable patterns inherent in every opposing tradition, offering superior insight. He stresses that true mastery comes not just from knowing your own style intimately, but from profoundly understanding and anticipating the entirety of your competitive environment. Finally, the Ring of the Void represents the highest, most abstract philosophical state of non-attachment, emptiness, and the achievement of effortless, spontaneous action without thought. Achieving the void is realizing a state where the individual and the weapon are one, where there is no separation between intention, movement, and the ultimate, flawless result. This profound, final concept solidifies the Book of Five Rings not as a mere fighting manual, but as a deeply spiritual text concerned with ultimate, universal enlightenment and complete mastery. These five elements, from the foundational earth to the ultimate void, map out a comprehensive path to conquering any challenge, be it on the battlefield or within one's own mind. Musashi's life was significantly shaped by key turning points that guided him away from pure brutality toward philosophical refinement and spiritual maturity. The sheer intensity of his early, deadly duels, where he often faced multiple opponents, likely instilled in him an immediate, powerful appreciation for the fragility of life. His involvement in the decisive battle of Sekigahara, fighting on the losing side, served as a profound, life-altering experience of chaos and the unpredictable nature of large-scale conflict. In all honesty, this monumental defeat likely drove his realization that individual martial skill alone cannot overcome a complete strategic or tactical failure. The pivotal duel against Sasaki Kajiro was not only a martial triumph, but a profound philosophical one, compelling him to realize that he had reached the apex of combat prowess. This final, undisputed victory allowed him the mental and spiritual freedom to pivot from the desperate need to win to the noble pursuit of teaching and creating a lasting legacy. The patronage he received from various lords later in life, such as Lord Hasakawa, gave him the stability and necessary resources to focus entirely on his artistic and philosophical pursuits. His profound dedication to Zen Buddhism was also undeniably a massive, calming influence, providing a framework for the philosophical concepts of emptiness and non-attachment found in the void. The ultimate, final turning point was his self-imposed isolation in the Regando cave, the critical sanctuary where his lifetime of brutal experience was finally distilled into pure, enduring wisdom. Every confrontation, every victory, and every personal defeat were simply individual, necessary lessons that were meticulously woven together to form the perfect tapestry of his final philosophy. The influence of Miyamoto Musashi, the Sword Saint, extends far beyond the confines of martial arts and the history of feudal Japan. His lessons are truly universal. His strategic masterpiece, the Book of Five Rings, is studied today in boardrooms across the world by military leaders, CEOs, and business strategists seeking an edge in modern competition. The principles he established, such as simultaneous attacks, changing stance with fluidity, and the deep study of your opponent, are perfectly applicable to modern marketing or political campaigns. You know, the genius of Musashi is how he managed to codify the transient, brutal nature of combat into eternal, elegant principles of enduring conflict management. He taught us that the strategy required to defeat a warrior with a long sword is fundamentally the same as the strategy required to overcome an aggressive, unexpected business rival. Furthermore, his dedication to the path of self-improvement and his eventual pivot to art and philosophy serve as a powerful reminder of the importance of continuous personal evolution. Musashi proved definitively that mastery is not a destination achieved with a single victory, but an endless, evolving journey of continuous refinement and profound, honest self-assessment. His story is a vital testament to the human capacity to transcend violence and transform raw, practical experience into a legacy of enduring strategic and philosophical enlightenment. The impact of his life and his words ensures that the voice of the Sword Saint continues to resonate with powerful clarity across the centuries, even to a weary traveler of the stars. Miyamoto Musashi truly left behind an intellectual weapon that is far sharper and more influential than any sword he ever wielded on the countless battlefields of his youth. It is a truly humbling realization to see that the most devastating killer of an entire era became the profound master who taught us all how to live with strategic grace and profound wisdom. Honestly, the underlying truth of Musashi's philosophy is that once you master the smallest movement of your blade, you have effectively mastered the largest movement of your entire life. I believe the most important lesson we can extract from the Book of Five Rings is the absolute necessity of deeply understanding and honestly assessing your own capabilities and limitations. This journey back in time to the fascinating life of the Sword Saint has provided an invaluable perspective on how true strategic excellence is born from personal experience and deep, rigorous contemplation. It reminds us that every individual challenge we face, whether small or monumentally large, can be overcome by applying the fundamental, timeless principles of earth, water, fire, wind, and void. The legacy of Musashi is not the number of men he defeated, but the enduring clarity and profound simplicity of the strategic manual he left for all future generations to study and practice. Now, my fellow travelers, I am profoundly curious. Which of Musashi's five rings do you believe holds the most relevant, critical lessons for navigating the complexities of our modern life today? Please take a moment to share your personal thoughts in the comments below, letting me know whether you prioritize the foundation of earth or the fluid nature of the water. Your engagement helps me tailor these profound journeys to the historical mysteries and philosophical concepts that most powerfully resonate with your collective intellect and curiosity. I am already preparing the coordinates for our next descent into the labyrinth of forgotten history, but your valuable input will definitely inform the specific destination of that crucial temporal leap. If you find this journey into the life and mind of the Sword Saint truly captivating, please hit that powerful subscribe button and activate the notification bell immediately below. Your supportive actions help others discover this unique blend of dramatic history and profound, transformative philosophy. So please also remember to give this video a like and share widely. Finally, I strongly encourage you to share this video directly with anyone you know who seeks an unfair strategic advantage in life, on the battlefield, or even in the modern business world.